All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Badass Podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I am your host, Sasha Davis, and I'm just keeping shit real over here. Actually, to keep it real, I am driving to go pick up my child from daycare. And got my headphones in, and I'm like, hey, I'm just going to record a podcast real quick because I just listened to a podcast and it was talking about how people are scared to do things by themselves. And I was like, whoa. I am the complete opposite. So I felt compelled to get on here and talk about how I'm not scared to do things by myself. I'm the exact opposite, actually. I'm scared to do things with people. I'm that person who is scared to ask for help. Yeah, I just said it. I don't know if it's like actual fear, but I have this thing about me where I'm like too independent. I'm too independent. I don't want anybody's help. I want to do everything by myself because I am an educated, highly independent, capable, strong-ass woman. Too strong sometimes, too strong. I struggle with being vulnerable. I struggle with asking for help. I struggle doing things as a group. Like a group in a sense that like, you know, everybody gets together and like sings Kumbaya and talks about feelings and shit like that. Like that makes me want to throw up. But you know what? I did that earlier this year. I did those crazy, terrible things that's like, ugh, ask for help. What's that? I can do this by myself. And so my mindset shifted from, yes, I can do this by myself, but I don't have to. I don't have to clean my house, right? Somebody else can do that for me. I don't have to sit over here in misery and think that I'm the only one who feels this way and that, you know, nobody wants to help me and blah, blah, blah. I don't have to feel that way. Like, I can ask for help. There are people out there who want to help me, who are there for me, and who don't see vulnerability as a weakness. If I've learned one thing in this past year, is that vulnerability is strength. Oh my God, is that strength. Being a tough ass is easy. Putting your foot down, laying the law, drawing the line in the sand, telling people what you're not going to tolerate, doing things by yourself, all of that stuff's easy. That is easy. Being busy is easy. Working all the time is easy. You know what's hard? Taking a minute to yourself to collect your thoughts, to be present, to be quiet, to be calm, to focus, to breathe, to spend actual quality time with your family and not be doing a million things at once, which I'm a total hypocrite right now because I'm recording a podcast while I'm driving to go pick up my child. So I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. But the podcast that I was listening to was talking about how, you know, and it's funny because I seen a post on Instagram about this too. And it's like, oh, I was always scared to sit by myself in the cafeteria, or I was scared to go to the movies by myself, or I was scared to go on a vacation by myself, or I was scared to do all of these things by myself. And you guys, I'm the total opposite. I'm like, let me go by myself. I will do all the things by myself. I don't need any friends. I don't need a man. I don't need this. I don't need that. All I need is myself. And that's how I lived a lot of my life. I didn't give two shits about doing things with other people. I just was like the lone wolf over here, secluding myself in like my own little corner, saying, oh, nobody wants to hear your pity party, Sasha. Somebody's always got it worse. Just figure it out. You know, nobody really wants to go have lunch with you. Nobody wants to have a movie with you. Nobody wants to. So I just did a lot of things on my own. I did. And it was a hard pill for me to swallow when it's like, oh, I have to ask somebody to do something with me. I have to share my feelings with other people. That's really hard. And so I don't know. I just felt like I had to get on and talk about how not everybody is scared to do things by themselves. There's people out there like me who do everything by themselves. They parent by themselves. They work by themselves. They do everything by themselves because they feel like they have to do it by themselves. They feel like nobody gets them and that asking for help is weak. And I just want you to know that you're not alone and that maybe me and you should be friends, and then we can sit uncomfortably together in a circle crying and talking about our feelings that we don't really want to talk about, so it can just be one big giant room of tears and we're all just being awkward. Because I'm not good with, I didn't used to be anyways. I'm much better with emotions and sharing how I feel and being vulnerable. Hell, I think I've cried half a dozen times on this podcast, and that's probably more times I've cried more in the past couple years than I think I have in my entire life. Like, the tears just come all the time now. And I'm not scared of it anymore like I used to be. I would only cry when I would get mad, and that was the only time, because I was like a volcano, and it was like the tears were just like the volcano erupting. Like, they were just uncontrollable, streaming hot, angry tears down my face. And if you got me to the point that I got that mad, oh hell, you better watch out, because shit is hitting the fan. I didn't get angry. Well, that's a lie. I actually got angry like that quite a bit. I used to be a very angry person because I felt like I had nobody to talk to. And, another thing talking about that is I talk to a lot of women who are like, oh, I go to therapy and therapy's great. Actually, I don't even want to know if I want to go down that. Well, I will. I'm already starting. So therapy's great. There's a time and a place for it. But for me, I got to the point where I almost felt worse after going to therapy, and maybe I just didn't find the right therapist, but I felt like there was just a lot of pity, right? Like, I was talking to a gal actually just before I decided to jump in my car and head to pick up my daughter, and we were talking about, she was like, oh, is coaching like therapy? And I was like, no, it is nothing like therapy. I said, my experience with therapy was I went into a room, I sat down, I talked about how shitty my life was for 45 minutes, and then for 15 minutes, they told me how sorry they felt for me, and, oh, you're right, your life is so terrible, everything sucks, you have every right to feel this shitty. And I'm like, what? Well, now I just feel even shittier because a therapist now feels sorry for me. I'm like, God, am I worse than I thought I was? And so then, ding, timer's up. See you again next month. And maybe I don't know, maybe I should have done weekly sessions. Maybe I should have done bi-weekly sessions. I don't know. I crossed that bridge a long time ago and I'm not going back. But my experience was I just would like hash out all of my feelings. It was like I was on the spotlight too. It was like I was on a stage and somebody was like taking notes on my performance. And so I was scared and I was nervous and I would get just so angry. And then it's like, okay, well, now I feel 10 times shittier than what I did when I walked in here. And now you're just like, all right, see you later. Hope everything's fine. See you again next month. And there was like no follow-up. There was no action steps. There was no nothing. And so I felt even more alone than when I went there in the first place, and part of the reason going there was like, oh, Sasha, you need to talk to somebody about your feelings. I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to talk to somebody who has no fucking idea what I'm going through or how I feel or any of the experiences that I've had, and I'm trying to tell this woman how I feel, but she doesn't get it because she's never been there. And so I just felt super, super, super alone. And so maybe that's where this like lone wolf came from, is because I was like, oh, just build this wall, Sasha. You just got to be strong. You just got to be strong. Just, fake it till you make it. And, that only gets you so far on that side of things. And I don't know. I just want people to know that it's okay to ask for help. You just have to find your people. And it's okay to be vulnerable. You just have to find your people. And it's so much easier to open up to people when they get it. You know, they've been there, they've done that. They've been in a similar place as you, and just to hold that space and empathize with you, not sympathize. You know, it's okay for somebody to sit there and be like, I hear you, I feel you, I see you. Let me know what you need. You know, like that's empathy, right? Just like holding the space and being like, yep. And nodding your head and just in agreement, you know, like, I hear ya. Not trying to fix it, not saying, oh my God, life's so hard. This sucks. You should do this or you should do that. Oh, I feel so sorry for you. Like, that's sympathy. That's pity. That's disempowering, right? But empathy, when you empathize with someone, like that's empowering. Like, you're not taking away my power when you just feel me, when you see me, but don't pity me. And so I built up this really big giant wall, and I did things alone for a lot of years. I never asked for help. God, even there was times where I was like, I want to go to a movie. I would just go. I wouldn't even bother like asking anybody, because I was like, who gives a shit? Nobody gives a shit. I would just go, you know? And then I hear these podcasts and these posts that are like the total opposite of me, where people are like scared to do things alone. And I'm like, God, I wonder what that's like to like have to feel like you need people all the time. Like, that's the total opposite of me. Like, my struggle has been trying to build a community, build a circle, build connection with other people, while the other side of things, people are trying to do more on their own and build that courage and confidence and open up and try new things. And I'm good at that. Like, I got that part down. So it's just funny. It's very eye-opening. And I like to see things from other people's point of views and other perspectives and things like that. And so I just thought that I would share my experience, because I was the total opposite of this podcast. And if you want to go listen to the podcast, her name's Dr. Mariah White, and I think her podcast is called Your Life Matters. And it was the podcast on Stop Apologizing or something like that. And it was about how she went on a trip to Hawaii, and she ended up having to go by herself because nobody could go with her, and she almost canceled because she would have had to go by herself. And I'm like, hell, I would rather go on vacation by myself than go with a bunch of people. And I'm like, whoa, well, that's not very good either. Because I'm that lone wolf. Like, that's my go-to is, oh, don't ask for help, Sasha. You can do it by yourself. You're strong, you're tough, you're independent, you don't need anybody. And that's my default. Like, that's where I go to, you know, and I isolate myself, and that's not good either. I mean, I don't anymore. Sometimes I do. It's a work in progress. I'm not perfect, guys. But just so you know that maybe we'll all just go on a vacation to Hawaii together and just be awkward together and enjoy our alone time and enjoy our together time. That's why I really enjoy retreats, because you can kind of do your own thing. You just meet a bunch of people there. You travel by yourself. You meet a bunch of people there. Hang out, do your thing, go home, do your thing. You know, pretty cool experience. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys. I know that kind of got rambly at the end. So I am now at the daycare, and I'm going to pick up my child. And this is just real life. And if you can relate to this, please, I want you to do one of two things. Let me know your experience of being a lone wolf, and then I want you to share this on your social media. Let other people know that there's other lone wolves out there, and maybe if we can just get all the lone wolves together, and you guys can just, I don't know, hang out with me, and we can all be lone wolves and build our own little lone wolf community. So, all right. Talk to you guys later. Go out there. Be a badass.